Hang on. Well, guess what, guys? Tonight we're missing our intro because Lorilei was rushing with tech issues. So if you're just tuning in, you're listening to 105.3 and 107.7 out of New Orleans, Louisiana, and you're listening to The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. I am one of your hosts, and my amazing co-host is to my right, maybe your left, depending on how you see your screen. But he will introduce himself in just a moment. If you've never been here before, please like, share, and subscribe, and tell all your friends and family because there's something for everybody here. We have multiple shows 7 days a week, and when we are not streaming live, this network's been around for over 25 years. And the archive server is playing incredible shows, incredible guests. We also syndicate hosts on here. So we're always adding new shows. So there's something for everybody. My name is Lorilei Potvin. I am a host on United Public Radio Network, obviously co-hosting this show, but I have my own show called The Angel Rock on Monday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to throw this out there right now because I hope there's a ton of y'all there on Monday night. I am having my first animal communicator, and I booked a reading myself with her. She's amazing. She's incredible. Julie is her name, and she'll be there this Monday. And we have one of our own audience members who is usually here, JK47, coming on the week after. I am a Canadian clairvoyant medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, and registered nurse. Also, we are streaming to you on TV this evening. We are on Roku under UFO Space Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. So you're going to sign into your Roku account. You're going to go to the channel store and look up UFO Space P as in Paranormal. There'll be a drop-down list, and you're looking for exactly what I said, UFO Space Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. And Jonathan Keyworth, your ears must have just been ringing because I was just talking about you. So Jonathan Keyworth is JK47 Paranormal, who I said will be on in 2 weeks on the Angel Rock. If you're on StreamYard, if you've never been to StreamYard, and you're on Facebook, if we can't see who you are, I will highlight it, okay, because the comments or questions I try to highlight at the bottom of the screen, and you'll come up as Facebook user. To fix that, if you'd like, you can go to streamyard.com/Facebook. Just click yes to get permission to use your name and your picture, or you can put your name afterwards, or you can even choose to stay anonymous. I don't think I forgot anything, Dave. If I did, I'll throw it in there. And here's the amazing David Hanzel, my co-host.
Hi, I'm Dave. That's it. No, just kidding. I'm David Hanzel. I am a medium, channel, paranormal investigator, Reiki practitioner, and all sorts of stuff.
And a TikToker. He got his TikTok back, everybody.
Yes, and for those who are, when I had told before that I didn't have my TikTok, I managed to get my 94, well, now it's 94.3 TikTok back. So that one is under Medium David Hanzel. You'll see a lot of them there. If it doesn't have at least 94K, it's not me. It's a fake one. So
I have a hard time finding you now because there's so many with your old picture and Spirit Medium. They've got Spirit Medium. They've got David Hanzel Spirit Medium. Like there's so many, but you use a different picture, which we were talking about. Use a different picture.
Mm-hmm. There's one. I can't change the picture on my old account. I can't put it back on my.
Yeah, I know they won't let you do that, will they? I know.
Yeah, I can't. But yeah, they suggested that I didn't, so people could go back to finding me again. But if it doesn't say 94K followers, that's not me. I have probably about 30 imposters with my, and that's not uncommon for TikTok to have like that. So you'll see a bunch with my name with like 100 followers, 200 followers, so on and so forth. People trying to direct message you saying it's me, and
I know this is your energy, and I have a message from Spirit for you. It's not me. It's not Dave. We don't do that. But we do go live on David's TikTok, and we're waiting for him to get to 1,000. I don't usually go live on TikTok because I found out the Canadians, I'm not doing it to make money. But if you're going to spend time, people send gifts or they send money sometimes, and it's a nice thing. Well, they don't allow Canadians to collect anything. So we go to David's anyways, because he has a much bigger following. And we did that last night, right, Dave?
Yeah, we did that yesterday. And by the way, I did find out there was like these huge cannon type noises.
Oh, I asked you that earlier. You're reading my mind. It was so spooky, you guys. He was outside while we were connecting, going live.
Yeah, I like to go up to the mountain by my house, and I go to the park up there and alone. It's in the woods I'm on a picnic table in the middle of the woods type thing. And there was just like these. There was a lot of sounds last night everywhere, which it is the woods, so I have to give it that. But I got we heard these, like, it sounded like gunshots, but they were more like a cannon. I mean, they were really loud. Well, I tried to look it up, and as I was driving home, I did notice one thing: a lot of geese flying over, which means either they were trying to shoot at geese, and that's what that was. There's also a skeet shooting range down the road, but I don't know if that was it yet, though, because that was way louder than a gunshot. It was like
blasts, like somebody was setting off explosions or
that's what I thought. So
and it was getting closer.
Yeah, and people might have just been mad because I was a medium in the woods and they were trying to blow me up. I don't know. That's the conspiracy I'm putting out there, and I'm sticking with it. No, I'm kidding.
Well, let's say hi to everybody, because Michelle Pratt from
everybody
is here. She said, I can only be here for a few minutes. We're glad you could join us, Michelle. But let's start at the top, Dave. We'd love to give people shout outs. And as you all know, when you're here, both of my shows, this isn't my show, it's our show, but my own show too. We try and involve the audience, because if y'all weren't here, we wouldn't have a show. So we have, of course, our regular crew here, Sandra Sharp. Hello, everyone. I know what I forgot to tell you. If you're listening and you want to join the conversation, you want us to highlight your comments or you got questions, head over to UFO Paranormal Radio Network, either on YouTube or Facebook. Go to Dave's YouTube channel under the Spirit Experience, my YouTube channel, which is the Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. You can go to my Facebook profile under Lorilei Potvin. It's public. David has it streaming on his group on the Spirit Experience. It's also streaming, I believe I put it on Canada's Most Haunted. It's on The Centralist. It's on UFO Undercover. And of course, we're on Roku. So we got Jonathan Keyworth, or JK47 Paranormal, as he may be known. He says, hey, everyone. Liam Morgan says, hello. Hang on. We'd love to shout out everybody that's here. We really appreciate your support. Christine, I hope I say your last name right. Christine Kruer says hi. And this is one of your friends that we've got to know, right, Dave? Leah.
Hey, Leah.
Yeah, she says, hey, y'all. And
that's a Southern butt kicking girl.
I like that. I love Southern accents. And then we got Jennifer Frost Casista. She says, gotta love when the scammers do that. No, we don't.
Yeah, you know what? I got it. But listen, this is a funny thing about that whole thing. And then we're going to talk about portals, you guys. So just stay on for a moment.
Oh, we're going to talk about some true crime too.
And true crime. And Jonathan's
part of it. He said, I just shared.
Yeah, I've also been following that story a little bit here and there. But
I've been following it a lot.
when I first got my account taken, it was my fault. I fell for something, and I should know better because I'm a freaking psychic. But you know what the funny thing was? There's something that happens to me when there's extreme danger around me, and it doesn't happen often. Last time it happened was probably about like 4 years ago. It was something that was pretty bad. And I was cleaning a slicer. And in order to clean these slicers, I mean, if you tap them, I mean, you just cut your finger right off. That's how. And I started cleaning it, and I didn't put on my chainmail gloves. And I got the bucket of water up there. I went to put my hand on it, and the loudest ear-piercing sound came in my right ear. And my right ear is where I hear everybody usually. And it was loud, and immediately I stopped. And as soon as I pulled my hand away, the sound stopped. I'm like, okay, that's got to be them. Oh, I remember my gloves. Well, I haven't heard it like that for a long time. When that scammer first started to talk to me, that stupid noise came in my ear again, and I forgot and I ignored it. But I did on the bright side. They were telling me as my guides, because they talk to me all the time. So they're like, they wanted me to start screenshotting the entire conversation. So every time we started talking, it got to a page, I was just like, okay, I screenshot it, save it, screenshot. I don't know why I have so many screenshots. Well, it turned out I got to turn all those screenshots in to TikTok and to the cyber crimes unit. And which I don't know if they'll do anything, but they'll look into him. But because I had all that information, and I actually even when my phone rang or anything, I screenshot all that too. Everything that came in from every phone number that was called to me. That's how they got my account back, because I could prove that that was a number that somebody
Well, that's
used.
a good lesson for everybody to realize. And I tell people this all the time. It was a lesson my dad taught me very young in life. Whomever you speak to, whatever it may be, if they not friends, but I'm talking about a business or something like this, or anything that you might potentially ever need evidence, and I'm telling you, it blows people away. Even say you paid a bill and you called in to tell someone you paid the bill, find out their name, document the time and the date, and just the gist of the conversation. I am telling you, it blows people away, because people do not think of this. And when you've got precise evidence, or you've got the facts and the other person won't have them, not that you're trying to take somebody down, but it really supports what you're speaking about.
Oh, it does. I take screenshots of everything, and I'm going to blast this guy on TikTok, and I'm actually going to put some of his screenshots up behind my thing.
Well, people need to know, because you met somebody else who had just been taken by him.
Yeah, and you guys, just out of the blue, somebody wrote me the other day, and they said, "Do you know this person? They just scammed my account." I'm like, "Oh my God, it's the same person."
Yeah, so they do. You're not doing something wrong by letting others know.
Yeah.
I don't mean to change the subject, but I was going on to Facebook because I've got some clips. Now, AJ Capasso has been on the Angel Rock before. He is one of the hosts from Talking with the Source, who has had both David and I on there with Jonathan Keyworth, who's in the audience. And I touched base with Robin of Haffern Paranormal. He's traveling right now to visit family, but I just noticed I'd seen AJ had written his dog Blaze was very ill this morning, and he asked for prayers, and I'd sent him a private message, and I've just seen that he just passed away, and he was 2 weeks short of his 13th birthday. So please send positive thoughts and healing and prayers, because I mean, pets are family, right? And I can't even imagine. Oh, well, I can imagine. I have been through it. I didn't obviously know Blaze, but I have been through it, and there's nothing more heartbreaking. It's the sad thing about loving animals. They just don't seem to live as long as we do they?
That's because they already know how to love, so they don't have to stay as long.
Yeah, they're earth angels.
Yes,
they
love unconditionally.
That's true. That's true. So Sandra, backing up a bit to those blasts we were hearing, David, she asked, was it someone fishing with dynamite in a nearby lake?
No, but you would think so. And I know you got a little funny laugh there, the pumpkin, but you know what? Right behind me, down that little gorge, which you can't tell, but there's a gorge right behind me. It's going downwards. There's a lake at the bottom of that, because sometimes I walk around that little lake. But these shots were coming off to my left, which was
they were
the east. Yeah, they were coming off from the east, and the lake is the opposite way almost. But yeah, but I'm still not quite sure what it was, because like I said, I Googled and they said it was a skeet shooting place, but I heard the skeet shooting stuff, and I can hear when they break. And I wasn't hearing that. So I don't know where it was coming from.
In sets of 3, I noticed, like not one after another. There was like about a minute or to 30 seconds in between. It seemed to be 3, and then it would stop for a little bit and start again.
Yeah, it's a lot of weird. It's kind of weird. And it got so, and I'm not afraid of a lot of things. And I'm sitting there out, I'm done. I'm walking to my car while me and Lorilei are still in the live, because it's starting to get dark, and you couldn't tell from my camera, but it was starting to get dark. There was those loud noises, and then we talked for a minute to say goodbye to everybody.
Tell me when you get home, so I know you got home. Okay.
By the time I hung up the phone and literally started my car, I mean, the night came so freaking fast. I mean, I had to turn on my lights before I left that little bitty parking lot. That's how fast it came
Wow.
down. And
Well, I
because
know Dave talked to
it's the
me
woods.
where I am in Canada, and I'm in middle of Canada, 35, 40 minutes away from the Minnesota border. And he'll always say to me, what? It's still light there? And one of my besties, she's been on the Angel Rock recently, Leanne Clark. David knows Leanne. She'll say to me too, now she's used to it. But when we first used to talk years ago, she would say, oh my gosh, it's still live there. It's still like light out there.
Yeah, it gets well, this is the time of year too, just because it's September. It is also it's starting to get dark. 7:47 now is sunset. Or is it 8:47? No, it's 7:47. 7:47 is right around there is where it starts to get dark.
I think we're about an hour behind, but my rule of thumb is my birthday is August 15th and the weather starts to get cooler. And I expected that, except we just went through at the beginning of the week the most incredible heat wave, the hottest weather we have had of the summer. There was heat warnings. Today it's cold, and it got cold last night. So it's coming. So Nicole Thomas Ryan is here. Hi, all. Welcome. Mm-hmm.
So where do we want to head to first?
Well, we still got a few more people. One more person. We got Roger Blair.
Hey, Roger.
Howdy from Eastern Kentucky. Welcome to everybody.
Kentucky.
And Michelle's got to go to work. She said, have a great show, work calls. And
Thanks,
then
Michelle Pratt.
Jonathan was commenting on AJ's law. So we got Andrea.
Hi, Andrea Orlando.
Hi, welcome. Do you want to cover the true crime first, or what do you want to do? And then we'll jump into the really
well. Since Jonathan is here, and so,
we have a real paranormal element to this, and I'd love to hear. I haven't even asked Dave this yet, but
Jonathan,
I did.
Do you mind if we talk about you, Jonathan?
No, I already asked him. I already told him.
Cool? Okay.
And then I was talking to him. I was just said your name, typing it, and this happens all the time. David messages me, so I was finding out from Jonathan what was going on, and then I was talking to you, and I mentioned it to you. And I knew you'd be okay with it, but I said, let's talk about this, because Jonathan says, no, please do. He wants to talk about this because this is mind-blowing. Okay. And I'll get to your comment in a minute, Christine, but this has a paranormal element. So there is Danilo I always say his name. Let me get his name proper for you guys, because you know what? He is in the country of the U.S., apparently illegally. Let me get his name proper. I don't need to hear my name here. Thank you, my volume. And he apparently murdered somebody back in his native country of Brazil. And he was never punished for that. And he illegally entered the U.S. And he then took the life of his ex-girlfriend in front of her two young children. He had just been sentenced to life in prison with no parole. And this guy walked out of the jail. Like, I think it was August, what's today, the 7th? Yeah, August 31st. And that video, Jonathan, that I sent you, I know you were watching the live. One of my favorite places to watch true crime, is my Grizzly True Crime. My brain just went blank. Sorry. With Gisela K. She's from South Africa in the Netherlands. You guys have heard me mention her. She focuses on victims being empathetic. There's no nastiness tolerated in the chat, and she only focuses on facts. So this is the part I was telling Dave. There was a press conference on this case. Let me find it for you. There we are. Grizzly True Crime. I'll get his name. Okay.
Oh, is that how he Spider-Man'd his way out? I was just going to ask how did he get out.
Yeah, so Danilo Cavalcante, that's it. Okay, Sousa is his middle name.
Conte. Say the T part. She said Conte. The TE didn't come out, so it sounded funny.
What's that?
The T, that I didn't hear the end of your word. Oh. That's why I said it. Conte.
What are you talking about? Okay.
No, that's why I said Conte.
Okay. And Jonathan said, yeah, he Spider-Man'd his way out. But what happened was, so Gisela, or we call her G, she put up that she would be going live when the press conference came up. So she had this loop running. And I said to Jonathan, I sent him the link. He already knew about most of these people, because I also watched Surviving the Survivor, which is a really good show too. Great guess. Anyways, there's this guy and he's in this little thin alcove and you don't realize till you watch the live that it's the jail. It's his escape. So there's a guy standing here with a bunch of tattoos, no shirt on. I don't know if he had anything to do with it or not. Anyways, this Danilo walks right out of the door. And all of us have done this as little kids, I'm sure, right? In doorways and stuff. I know my brother used to anyways. And you put your feet up against one side and your back up against the other side. And you basically Spider-Man all the way up. That's what he did, up to the roof to escape. So there's been a manhunt for this guy for 7 days. They have not been able to capture them. So Jonathan does ITC or intertrans communication. And he asked Spirit, he said he called in and asked if Danilo's spirit guides would come through. And they actually said where this guy is hiding out. And I swear to you, I even asked because I don't, please refresh my memory with the state. I want to say Idaho, but I don't know if I'm right about that.
I got it right here. Hold on.
Do you, David? Thank you. And I say I've watched this. I've sat for hours watching the manhunt live with Angie's channel while I'm doing something else. And there's so many cases you follow. Did you get it, Dave?
Chester County. Wait. Chester County in Pennsylvania.
Oh, Pennsylvania. Oh, I got it. Okay, 17 to 18 minutes. There was a light anomaly by Lorilei's head. Okay, I'll remember that. I'll go back and check. I do have a window here. There is some sun, so it could have been something going by, but we'll see if it happens again. Anyways, so Jonathan asks, he gets an answer. Jonathan, I can play the EVP, but I couldn't hear it without headphones. But Jonathan asks what's happening, basically, like where is this guy hiding out? Lo and behold, he's able to find, it was bright. Okay, thanks, Jonathan. I will check it out for sure. And I'll clip it. So if I can find it, and I probably will be able to, I'll clip it and you guys can all check it out. Or you
we
can
should start an we should start a archive for just all the weird stuff on.
I know. You guys can go back. There's always a replay. Okay. There's always on YouTube. There's always on Facebook and wherever podcasts and talk radio are carried. There's always archives of every show in this network. He said it was really bright. Okay. So interesting. Back to this case. So Jonathan asks and he locates. I got to go back to Jonathan's stuff he sent me because we were chatting about this while I'm talking to you. I was answering somebody else. And then I was promoting our show. I was doing like 20 different things at once here. So
you're multitasking.
I was multitasking. Yeah, David, Jonathan goes, are you live? I can't see you on Facebook. Apparently, you may not be able to see me on Facebook because some people have told me that my picture won't show up, which means I'm probably being shadow banned because they come for me and David every single show. They can't come for this one, Dave. We didn't play her intro, but every intro they come for her and they basically shadow ban and give me a strike on Facebook. And I have it actually copy and paste. I just copy and paste where our intro came from, courtesy all of David. David found the song on YouTube copyright free, right?
And don't let her fool you. It's not a shadow ban. She's a vampire, and people just can't.
Okay, so where I want, you know what? I did pull up Facebook, Jonathan. Let me see. I can share these. Why am I looking? My brain is not working. Hang on here, guys. Give me a sec. We got to find Jonathan. There you are. There's Jonathan. Okay, so because I said to Jonathan, remind me and we'll talk about this, but I'd mentioned it to Dave. And just before we went live, David said, is that this Danilo dude? And I go, oh, it sure is. But okay, here's the dilemma, folks. Once I show you all this, so Spirit was able to come through the ghost box or ITC, okay? And tell Jonathan where this guy is holed up. How do you let law enforcement know? Because first of all, either how do you have knowledge of this if they find him? Most people in these fields, not everybody, but there are people that do not believe in this kind of stuff. So if this guy is actually found, and I would believe that Spirit.
The first thing I would do I would take the address that I received and I will Google it first. I would
He
go
did. I'm
Google
going to pull it up right now.
Okay, and you found it. Okay. Once you did that, I know they have a tip line, and you can just anonymously call up
Oh,
and
I
say,
never
have
thought
you,
of that,
yeah,
Dave.
they have a tip line. So can you just call it up and you can
But
actually
how
just
do you tell them you knew? Oh, I heard it on the
they're not
Ghost
going to
Talk
ask. It's a tip
Spirit
line.
Guides.
Yeah. They don't care at this point, because trust me, even when I worked with law enforcement to do some stuff, they don't ask. Nobody wants to know anything about me, the family, nothing. I mean, they could care less.
Okay, Jonathan, you know what you got to, well, he has another, it's up to him whether he wants to say how he did
Yeah,
share
it's up
this.
to you. Yeah.
But he was able to connect with somebody who can take that tip further.
Yeah.
I'll say it that way. Add to the stage. I've never seen that before. For screen sharing, it says add to the stage.
Oh yeah, I got that on my StreamYard now, on my personal one.
Okay, so this is where he found it, and we'll probably talk more about this. Okay, I can't really play it. I'll try and make it bigger. So I'm trying to find it. I'm not sure. It was on a river, basically. Okay, so I'm going to show you just these map pieces, but there's a reason why, because he actually did Google it. Hang on, I'll find the other ones. And then what happened was he found if they had said he was in an abandoned shed on the river, and they told him where the river is. And once he shared it, I'll see if I can. So he has a satellite view here. And then what happened was he actually got a Google view. There is an abandoned shed. And I said, is it within the perimeter area? Because they have where they believe he is roped off. And it is. I think he said it was a little bit, did you say northeast or southeast? I can't remember, because I'm sharing this right now. I can't see it. So let me see if I can blow this up for you guys a little bit more for you. So it would be close to Bennett's Run. You can see that there's a shed in the blue circle, just like Spirit told him. And what river? Then hang on, the satellite view is really interesting too. So give me a sec. So Bennett's Run, he even, oh, sorry, that's really big. I didn't mean to make it that big. Come on, guys, slow down here. Okay, give me a sec. I gotta go back, and I'm trying to go fast here. Okay, this is it. So there's an actual shed there. Look at this. He has an address. He has everything where Spirit told him, sorry, northeast of search area. He has an actual address. He was able to find where this is. It's the only one there, he said. And it's very close to the perimeter area. So tip line, that would be a good idea, Dave. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, they have a tip line.
Go ahead.
They do in Pennsylvania. They have a tip line, and you can just you can just go to the Pennsylvania, the directory for their law enforcement.
Well, they do. Gisela posted it on. It's in Gisela on. It's everywhere, but Grizzly True Crime, you want to find it fast. She's got even like everything time stamped if you want to find something in the case. This woman is so organized. 200 yards from the river.
Yeah.
So what Spirit told him, and like I said, I would play the EVP for you guys, but it's pretty quiet. I will bet, knowing Jonathan, I haven't known him long, but I'm sure he'll be able to manipulate it a little bit and possibly make it a little bit louder, and you can hear this. So this came through in his session today.
I wonder who the actual spirit was and the purpose.
He said he called in he asked for Danello's spirit guides. Now, again, maybe he can be more clear, but that's what he told me. We were just chatting back and forth, like typing.
But I wonder, I mean, and it could be him, but but I was wondering if there's something else behind that too, behind just the spirit guide. Because I would think that, in all honesty, and it sounds really weird, but I just have this funny feeling it was Danello's higher self who gave the information. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel it was. And the reason is, this is purely theory. I do not know this at this point, but just how my thinking goes, and from what I know, it feels like our soul would give us away because they know what we need to learn and they know what's going to happen. Where if a spirit guide does it, a spirit guide is infringing on your free will, where contacting your higher self is not infringing on your free will. You're actually asking yourself. I don't know if that's all true.
Well, that makes sense, but what if, now we're going to get complicated, that he contracted to come into this lifetime to do this, and this was a potentiality of a scenario that was going to play out, and he maybe agreed beforehand.
That could, that very well. Yeah, that very well could be too. He
or
could have
collaboration with higher self and guides.
And the guy, as crappy as he is, may have took one for the team in order to get some kind of proof again about two paranormal people, because people in the paranormal and mediumship spirituality, we also chose this experience too. So as much as we involve ourselves in this experience, it gets stronger. And so, so you could be right as well. I mean, I don't know. I was just sitting here. I was thinking about it because I was trying to ask my guide. And
right.
I got nothing. I got shut up.
But you're right, Dave, because you are right. And we can connect with our higher self.
Yeah.
And they even tried, because he speaks Portuguese, Spanish, and some English. And this guy's tiny. He's 5 feet tall, 120 pounds. So he has been able to evade. I think they called in the special forces today to try and find him. But I mean, I was thinking, like, you can ask Jonathan. I was talking to him while we were watching this press conference, and I'm going, I so want to type, like, has anybody thought to check to see if there's any abandoned sheds by a river northeast? I didn't, because you're right. I forgot. I didn't even think of the tip line. So we were meant to talk about this. So Jonathan, you may want to do that.
If you want to. I mean, however you want to do it. I mean, if you want any recognition out of it, then you might have to do it another way.
But $20,000 reward, and
that's the whole thing. And you can. I mean, I would go for the reward.
Yeah, I think I should.
I would just tell him. You could just say it honestly too. I asked, this is what I do as a hobby and for a living, or whatever we do it for. This is what I do. This is how I got the information. If it's right, it's right. Give me the money and shut up.
I know right now with Grizzly True Crime, and I adore the ground she walks on, but there was a case of a woman, Nicola, I forget what her last name was now. She was missing. She'd taken the dog for a walk in a park and basically disappeared without a trace. And nobody could find her. There was so much controversy about this. And I know Gisela covered it, and she got so much hate about this. You don't live in the UK. Who do you think you are? And, whatever. And she was trying to support the family, and she connected with the family. They were just awful. Everybody kept trying to blame the husband. Yeah. Lo and behold, a medium went for a walk with his partner, and him, and I think it was his husband. He called the police, and he went out on a limb, and he said, I know this is going to sound crazy, and you haven't been able to find Nicola. I am telling you, she is right here. I'm standing right in front of where she is. So they took him seriously because they had no other way to find the body. And lo and behold, they found her body.
They found her, yeah.
So I know there was a lot of controversy and discussion about pulling mediums and psychics into cases like this. I wholeheartedly believe in it and love it.
They use it all the time, but they don't tell people. You'd be surprised on how common it really is. And they do not divulge it. Because even like some of the cases I worked on, they didn't tell the family, this certain medium found your son. Oh, can we thank him? They're like, no.
No, but the thing is, he did this, like he closed down, I think, this gentleman, all his social media and everything. He said, I'm not out here for clout or anything. Yeah. Like people wanted to book a reading immediately. And he said, no, I did this because it was the right thing to do. Yeah. But that's what I want to use my gifts for. I haven't actively involved. I've used them and worked with people, say if a child's been missing locally here, not trying to get involved. It would be somebody that I knew personally and their child was missing. The police were involved in what? And they would ask, is there anything you can pick up? But look at Jonathan's using, his gifts and his equipment. And I think it's a beautiful thing. It's just some people seem to think like, and it's sad because who cares how somebody is found if they are found?
That's what I say. Yeah. Who cares? I don't care who found whoever. If they're looking for somebody and somebody offers help, take it. You can't be closed-minded about anything. And in actuality, even what I said about I wonder who the information came from on that side, that actually doesn't really even matter either.
I was so impressed. Now, Jonathan, you put the address. I don't know if you're going to call the tip line or not. I don't know who's listening or watching. So I didn't shout it out because you were the one that got the information. And again, it doesn't matter who did, but you took the time and you've been willing to share it. So he did get an address, though, everybody. So if you're in the chat, you'll see it. And like I said, there's nothing else around there. And I even asked him because I'm not familiar with Pennsylvania. I mean, I know where it is, but I don't know it locally. Oh, Jonathan goes, we should all call.
Every one of us call and give that. They're like, there's some kind of terrorist group out there calling us, telling us where he is.
The thing at the foot of the bed, they're all calling.
Yeah. On behalf of the thing at the foot of the bed and a bunch of psychos, we know where he is. Yeah, well, it's tough.
The thing. Do they care? Because these poor people. Okay, there have been stories. One guy in particular, him and his wife are home. They look like they were in their early 60s, but a young 60s, right? And his wife goes, "I hear something in the basement." He goes, "Oh, so do I." And he goes to the stairs to downstairs to the basement, and he can hear something. So he takes the light switch and he flicks it back and forth 5 times. And that little monkey, the tiny monster, as somebody named him in the chat on Grizzly True Crime, he flicked the light back off and on 5 times to let him know I'm in your basement. Apparently he stole apples, peaches, and snap peas. Thank God he didn't hurt them with the history he has. But he let them know, like, I'm in your basement, and like, dude, don't come downstairs, I guess.
Yeah, well, I guess, and some people left. They left that city where he was, just afraid, because who knows what he's gonna do. I mean, his plan might be revenge, but his plan also might be, oh, I just don't want to be in prison for the rest of my life.
Well, no, and that's just it, because I think that's what it is. He hasn't hurt anybody. He's mainly, and I don't think he knows where he's going, because he's kind of going this way and then he's going that way and he's going, and he hasn't really left far from the prison. And a lot of people are always long gone. Someone picked him up. And well, like I said, Jonathan, I mean, how would he get an address and know where all this is? I mean, he sent me the EVP file. Like, it's not like he made this up. Yeah. So the thing is, right, he's still there, but I don't wish this on him. But let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, if you had a taste of freedom and you walked right out of a jail, God forbid, and you had the sentence he did, that he's never going to come out of a cage, basically.
Yeah.
These are your last days of freedom. So you get to choose, I guess, how it's going to end when you finally do get caught, right?
Exactly. I don't know what I would do in that situation. Well, he's not a spiritual person, so he doesn't realize what's going on anyway. But yeah, it's sad. I wish, though, I mean, to get back to like our side, is I wish even more law enforcement would start contacting people. But then again, there's I don't want to call them newbies or say anything like that, but there are those people who, and exactly. That's what I want to call them. Mm-hmm. Either fakers or they haven't been doing this long enough to know discernment yet. So they might start just shouting out random addresses or get kind of an address and look in that area to see if they can find.
Or pull out the dartboard, close their eyes, and go to the dart.
And the one thing you don't want to do, especially, and I tell people, if you are a psychic or something, you're giving information about like maybe where to find someone who's dangerous, make sure that you're as accurate as you possibly can, because if you give an address of an innocent person and the police go to that thinking that they got that. So but hopefully police wouldn't be dumb enough to follow up on a tip that small, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing is, right, like here's one, like what are the chances this comes through an ITC box when Jonathan asks, and it happens to be close to the perimeter search area, and it's the only abandoned, I think you said abandoned, please correct me if I'm wrong, Jonathan, shed there, and he gets an address, like he looks up, he finds out where it is, and he showed me. So Jonathan said, oh, right, okay, so any of you that may have known about the Gabby Petito case, which was very sad, and it was just 2 years ago. Jonathan says, and I'm gonna say hi to Neil Carr. He says, "Hey guys, I hope you've been well." I think Dave has too, right, Dave?
What?
Neil asked if we've been okay. He said, "Hi guys."
Oh, we have been just fine, Neil. We hope you are.
Yes, that's what I said too. Yeah. So Jonathan said, "Don't forget, Gabby told me where Brian is Brian Laundrie, her fiance, who very sadly was responsible for the loss of Gabby's life." And he says, "Don't forget," and there was a manhunt for him. And he says, "Don't forget, Gabby told me where Brian was 2 weeks before they actually found him. And he had very sadly taken his own life." She said, Northport, it's on his YouTube. We'll share your YouTube channel link in here so people can go check it out, Jonathan.
Yeah, share your YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, share. He said he subscribed, by the way, Dave, to your channel.
Yeah, I saw that. And you should also, you can do a live with me on my TikTok one day and we'll get your followers back up there.
Yes, absolutely. Jonathan says, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Or, feel free, people in the chat, to let people know where you're from, or if you've got a YouTube channel or something, the more the merrier, right?
Yeah, you guys, listen, that's something we haven't said to you guys. If you guys are people who are in the paranormal or spiritual or something like that, and you have a YouTube or something, feel free to put it in here. I probably would get permission first before you put your contact stuff. Like if you're a reader, like don't say come find me for a reading.
No, not that.
You can share your
YouTube channel for sure. Yeah.
But if you got a paranormal YouTube channel or anything like that, or a TikTok, please let us know in the comments.
As you know, we have no problem shutting people out. Feel free to subscribe to both of our channels. David, you're the Spirit Experience, right?
Yep, the Spirit Experience on YouTube. And then we have Jonathan Keyworth is YouTube / @JK47 paranormal ?
They should be able to find it. It's usually youtube.com /C / and it'd be
if you just put in, if you just actually, I know how YouTube works. If you just put in actually JK47 paranormal, one of your videos will come up and then you'll find you.
And mine is the Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. I have some teaching videos on there, but also I back up all of our shows on that channel.
Mine too. Yeah. They're backed up on my channel, as well as about 4 or 5 years worth of teachings. And where you can see me with short hair when I had a nice body, because I worked out 5 days a week.
David's hair looks much better longer. Jonathan goes, "You guys rock." Well, we think y'all rock too. So we wanted to throw that out there because it's so cool. Because it's
just picking something up.
It's paranormal, right? Like it's paranormal related. And who would have thought? Now people wonder why I follow true crime. Actually, I follow a lot of different things because, especially when you're a guest on a podcast, and you never know what's going to come up. And so it's always good to know a little bit about a few things. So, but we were talking, and I know we got some interesting questions last night on the live on Dave's TikTok channel, and we had some good ones on the Angel Rock on Monday night. Somebody wanted to talk about sheep squatch, which I actually found out about. Portals. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I got to tell you something real quick. Do you remember before we knew all this, what Jonathan was doing and about all that? What were we talking about yesterday? Remote viewing. And we were talking about finding people.
I was just going to say that. Yes. And then Jonathan says that he feels the cases call to him, right? And I think that's with anything.
That's what you got to do. Yeah.
We're all connected, right? You'll hear in the woo-woo spiritual world that it's universal consciousness, but it really is, because everything's energy, right? So we are, and we're all connected. So you can reach into that. That's where remote viewing comes from. That's where I think it was you, Jonathan. It was with chit-chat.
If you guys want to hear a secret, like if you guys want to know, David, how do you know this stuff about people? It's because of what Lorilei was just saying. When we do a reading, we literally are tapping into your connection, and you're actually giving us all this information. It's not just a guide. It's not just anything. We're receiving that information from that. That's what we tell people. Everybody's psychic. It all depends on where you're taking it and what you're going to use it for. And
absolutely,
it's a muscle. You got to work it. You gotta pay attention and do stuff. So that's how. So I like that Jonathan said he feels the cases call to him, which is basically you're becoming in line with the vibration of that case. And when you get to line, it says me, pick me.
Yeah.
And there you go.
You're connecting to it. And the
Yep.
other thing he brought up, he said astral travel. So we got lots of topics because a lot of people, we don't have Z Sun Dragon here yet. Kevin, I don't know if he's able to make it or not, but he shared so many portal stories. I actually didn't even get a chance to send you this, Dave. I found 10 top cases of portals. It's less than 2 minutes long on YouTube. And then mirrors, talk about mirrors being portals. I mean, where do you want to start, you guys? Or where do you want to start, Dave? What's drawing you in? Because I've heard of sheep squatches before. I just didn't.
I want to start on sheep squatch because portals will have a lot of back and forth and a lot of fun stuff between the two of us on portals.
Okay.
And so I think sheep squatch would be fun because I know nothing about sheep squatch. I never even heard of sheep squatch.
I thought this person might have been making it up. I'm going to share it. Hang on. So a sheep squatch to me, it kind of would be, and I've heard many reports of this. There's somebody by the name of Lilith. I forget what her name is. And she reads paranormal stories people send in. And I've often wondered, because people have reported seeing when I'm about to share, I'm going to save it on, I'm going to screen share it. And to me, it kind of reminds me of Baphomet. You know, that's a demonic entity that in darker fields, I'll say, people tend to idolize. And it kind of reminds me, except it's not as humanoid looking as some of the pictures you see of this individual with the bee. Okay, hang on. So sheep squatch, guys, you ever want to look up cryptids? There's a cryptid wiki. It's awesome. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So let me pull up a picture of this dude. There was a couple of, oh, now it's going to decide to make me wait. Okay, here we go. Hang on, guys. New computer. Dave's got a new computer. Okay, this one's not too bad. So let me share it. Hang on. What's that? What's that, Dave?
Oh, nothing. I said, yeah, I do got a new computer as well. Yep.
Oh, I thought I couldn't hear what you said about the computer. Okay, so this is the sheep squatch coming up. Hang on.
Hi, Howie.
Hi, Howie Odell. Hang on. And oh, now it moved from my high picture here and it moved. Heard a lot of this dude. Hang on. Trying to get him queued up here. Okay, hang on. Don't move, page. Okay, what are you doing here? Sorry, it's deciding to take forever to bring me back to StreamYard.
So while we're waiting,
cut off of StreamYard.
While we're waiting, so sheep
you're there. I
squatch
can hear you.
Okay, so it's not like South Park and Man Bear Pig. This is like sheep squatch. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Oh, there.
Kasen Lee LK. Yes, it really is live. Well, it was live. I think I'm just here. Did you freeze, Lorilei? Or are you just really good at being still? Up. Can't hear you, though. Up. Just a second, guys. Yeah, Lorelei's froze, but she'll be back. She'll be back in just a second. She actually looked like she froze, and she was just sitting very still.
Okay, can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you perfect.
I don't know what it is with that page, guys, but it was like had me locked right up. It loads beautifully. I would love to show you. Oh, you thought it was recorded. That's Kasen Lee. It looks like UK.
Yeah, he asked if this was recorded.
Okay, Linda Nelson. Oh, you don't have to apologize, Kasen. It's okay. Linda says I can only stay a couple minutes. No problem. There's always a replay. So what I was showing you was the sheep squatch. So you can go to Cryptid Wiki, or you can just look up sheep squatch on Google. And I have the page saved, but I don't know why I did that to my computer. Oh, you're from Sri Lanka. Welcome, Kasen.
Oh, welcome.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's welcome, but it's so cool. We got Sri Lanka in the house. So this thing, like I said, kind of looks like a Baphomet. So it looks like a Sasquatch, sort of like man-shaped, upright, but has the head of a goat, almost with these big, massive horns. And apparently it's a carnivore. And I got to pull up the article because I looked it up, and I think it's Virginia. They were saying there's been the bulk of the reports. Yep, here it is, West Virginia. So I can show you guys a picture. It's going to be on my phone, and I apologize, but can you guys see?
Yeah, I got sheep squatch is also known, and I'm right outside of Virginia. So
okay, but look, Dave.
Oh yeah, that's what I pulled up too.
Okay, so he looks like that, and Robert O'Dell, hello, thanks. Oh, he says I was trying to get grounded. No, I promise I wasn't. Neil says he's in Portland, Oregon. Cool. Oh, and of course, I swear to God, we got crazy stuff going on here, folks. My phone's jumping all over. Here's another one. Sorry, I'd share it, but this thing is screwing up my connection.
Oh yeah, I'm reading about this, and
you want to read, Dave?
Yeah, there is a 1994 was a sighting, and 1995, 1999, 2015. There's like,
I thought I said 5. Oh no, you're right. 2015. There's been way more though, because I have heard
there's way more.
Goatman here in Virginia. Another name. I bet you it's known by Goatman.
Yes, I bet Goatman's the other name.
Because I was saying it looks like Baphomet to me, the symbol that you see almost. But I think Goatman, it was, I think Howie and Robert, you guys were there Monday night on the Angel Rocks. They did a show by myself. There were others here too, but I don't know who hung around to the end. And I forget who it was. They brought up all these topics they wanted to talk about. And I said, save them for Thursday night. And they brought up sheep squatch. I remember that because I have never heard that term before. And you had
It says it's described as a being quadruped, about the size of a bear, with entirely white wool-like fur. It has a long pointed head similar to a dog, but with long saber-like teeth, and a single crank-sized set of horns, not dissimilar from a young goat.
I'm trying to get
away from it. And in paw-like hands. Wow. And it's amazing.
These guys, none of them are white. I know this isn't a real one, but none of these dudes are white.
Yeah,
this guy on the top is not a sheep squatch. I don't know what the heck he's supposed to be, but this guy in the bottom too.
They're renditions, but when they say white, I don't think they completely mean white. Because look at the Yeti. A Yeti is white. But the Sasquatches are the ones in Canada. We mostly see darker haired ones.
Okay, dear man. Now, I have been hearing a lot about these, but they are hideous. Like the flesh is the fur and everything. They're so emaciated, and it's like basically hanging in ribbons. They all have a terrible smell, these beings, and it is upright. But people have compared it to almost looking like a deer. Now, I have seen and heard reports of people that think they've seen a Wendigo that kind of looks like this too. So what is it? Is it deer man? What is it? Definitely agree, Howie. I think it's a cryptid. What do you think? What do you think, Dave?
I think these are all cryptids, and I think a lot of them are tulpas. But what people don't mistake, if something's a tulpa, that means it is real. Tulpas are very real.
This is what I thought it was, dear man. Oh, sorry.
Oh, look at that.
That's what people report, and they say it is putrid smelling and hideous to see.
Ew.
Mm-hmm. I know, Howie. Yes, like Jonathan says, or like a Wendigo. Yes, that's what I've heard them referred to as well, Jonathan. Or Howie says, could we be dealing with skinwalkers or dogman?
Yeah, no, where I'm from in Wisconsin, we had werewolves. We have the Bray Road Beast, which would be considered a dogman, because me and Lorilei discussed before when people said that they were Sasquatch that were mean and doing stuff, and I thought to myself, I don't think it would be a Sasquatch. I think it would be a dogman. Dogmen are usually, those sightings are something, menacing, where Bigfoot is just elusive.
No,
Look
but
at that
with
deer man.
dogmen, the biggest thing I'm gonna, well, that's a great question. Hang on, Jonathan. Okay, so the biggest thing I hear about dogmen, though, besides everything else, sometimes their eyes are yellow, sometimes they're red, whatever, is that they are upright and their legs almost look like they go backwards,
Bend
like they
backwards,
bend
yeah, like a
backwards.
dog, like a
Yeah, but
cane.
it's so freaky to see people when they report it. So this is Jonathan's question and Howie's too. Could it be Skinwalker? Possibly. But the other thing is, I gotta agree with Dave. Like, could this be Tulpas too, right?
Yeah.
Because a tulpa is a collective energy, right? Everything, thoughts, words, and emotions, those are all energy. And the more people that talk about it, believe in it, feed it with fear, it can manifest into a physical being.
Kasan Talpa is conjured up by dark magic unintentional. I don't think it was
I agree.
conjured up
I
by,
think they can be.
I think they could be, but I think it would be unintentionally.
I
I
think,
think
well, no,
because how
I'm
many,
going to say intentional, because if you are a dark magic practitioner or
but
you are
you
a
would
dark
have to have a
alchemist,
lot of, you would have to have a lot of people
have you ever seen a
concentrating on
homunculus? I have seen a video out of Russia, and the guy never had a cut in a video before all this video
it.
stuff.
Well,
I
who's
was so
homunculus?
grossed out. It is a dark type of baby type spirit, and I swear to God, I watched the whole thing. It was the most grossest thing. It was about 10 years ago. And I kept thinking, what are you going to do with this thing now that it's alive? It literally looked like, oh, just thinking about it. It kind of looked like a large, I want to say almost maggot, but it had more human looking. Oh, I'm just getting so creeped out even thinking about it. And it was about this long, and it was moving, and it was creepy. Let me look
Yeah.
it up. I'll be able to identify it for
Let
what
me,
it is.
okay, Jonathan, I'm going to try to answer the question with my personal expertise, but anybody's can differ than mine. It's okay. But Jonathan's question was, here's a question: can spirit find these cryptids? The answer to that is yes. Any spirit knows what these cryptids are, absolutely. But here's the thing: keep this in mind. Everything you see in front of you, who's creating that? You are. So if you are, it's kind of like elementals, and Lorilei knows about this too. If you are open to elementals, if you have more than the belief, you have the knowing of them, and you know that they're there, and you are open to it, you can see them. You can see them quite easily. There's many people, and see where they originate from. Like even a lot of the elementals, like the big ones, are like in Ireland, Scotland, and all that. And a lot of people there believe in that. Not all, but a lot of people there believe in it. And the reason they believe in it, and the reason a lot of them see it, is because they grew up with the belief. It's just like, it's, if you have that strong a belief, kind of like religious people have a strong belief in a certain religion, even though they'll have the belief, even though they've never seen anything, because it was imprinted on them and they were taught that. Same goes where maybe for cryptids. I mean,
Okay, so I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop
Yeah.
you there. So if you have somebody that grew up completely surrounded by dark magic beliefs and dark practices and what have you, or alchemy, right? And they believed in it, and there was a collective, like you have a group of it working on it collectively, trying to conjure something. It could be created intentionally, right? If you take what you
it could
just
absolutely be created intentionally. But here's where the weird part comes in. Somebody can create something as intentionally as they want, but if you are a non-believer, you will never see it.
that I will agree with.
Yeah,
Because
I
who
wonder.
I'm going to take? Shane and, oh, what's his name? Ryan from BuzzFeed. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It is it's the silliest paranormal show, but it's on YouTube. And I will tell you, I don't think Shane has ever experienced one thing paranormally. Ryan is terrified, and every single time something happens to him.
Yeah.
And again, it could be manipulated for whatever reason. I think only once or twice Shane has actually heard something that he can't explain, but he's the world's biggest skeptic. And he never experiences anything. And he's
And you
open
know what?
to it. Come on, Ghosties.
And like me, like Lorilei knows, I have a very, very, very light belief in anything negative. Yet I have experienced it. But because of the fact I always tell people, you pick your playground when you're doing this work. You really do. If your playground is the deep, dark stuff, you're going to get a lot of it. You're going to see it. You're going to
Sometimes you live in a house, though, that deep, dark stuff comes to, and you weren't looking for it, and it finds you.
Yeah, but that's because you're probably open to begin with.
Okay, but no, I never watched paranormal shows. I had nothing to do with it.
No, I don't mean that. I don't mean that you ever were, I don't mean that you were influenced. I just meant you had an open enough mind to the world when you come in. It's if you ever like, like I'm very open
with this,
like I'm really open-minded about all people. So so race and all that other stuff to me is just a different way we look. It doesn't mean anything more than that.
I call it wrapping paper because if you put the wrapping paper off, we look identical.
It's all the same. Yeah. So it all depends on where you're going to. And then you have those people who hate a bunch of people because they were taught that over and over. So that's all they can see. And the only way that can be fixed is by showing them it's not always like that. And that's the same for me. And I had to come to that conclusion because I don't play in the negative field, but I've helped many people out of the negative field because when I do that, I do see it. I am a witness to it.
The difference. And I was told this years ago by my own partner when I first started. I said, I only want to do angel cards. This was years before I had started this because they're positive. I want nothing to do with the dark. And I remember these words so clearly. And we were just friends. We weren't even together then. And he said to me, Laura, in order for you to be doing this kind of work and wanting to work in the light, you also need to be aware of what the dark is so you know the difference.
Absolutely correct. That is absolutely. And I had a lot of darkness in my life before I was practicing mediumship. So I know the darkness and it's nasty.
And we choose not to be there, right?
Yeah.
But where
and it feels good. It feels great not to be in that.
Where I was going with this was I am now of the belief, never mind everything else you have said, I agree with you. Yes, I am very open to anything. And I always believe that truth rises to the surface eventually, unless it's absolutely ludicrous that you can see right away someone is lying. Okay, but my point is with working in palliative care, and before I hurt my back, I worked in one of the most dangerous parts of the city. There was a lot of murder, a lot of rape, a lot of crime, a lot of sadness, drug, everything low vibrational you could experience. I also was there with many people when they left this earth to transition back home or wherever they chose to go. So there could be a potentiality that somebody had something negative maybe around there and followed me home. I don't know, maybe.
Right after you said that, did you hear the thunder, you guys? Right when we started talking about spooky stuff, we got thunder.
Well, what about a homunculus? I looked up a homunculus, okay?
Oh, yeah. Is there a picture?
Kind of. Yeah, there is.
And it's little? With a name like homunculus, I want to see some like 7'9"
They say it's fictional, but I have heard of this. I do not practice dark magic. I am not a witch. But again, in order to know the difference, I've done a lot of different study, talked to a lot of different people.
Yeah, me too.
I know you have. I meant for people watching. I know you have.
For people watching, yeah. I was going to say, we've talked to all kinds of people, Lorilei. I think we've been
up and down about you, Dave. Next time I just going to say we. Sorry, I should have said we. Yeah. A homunculus. Let me get my glasses, guys. I'm going blind.
I want to see a homunculus now.
Okay, a homunculus is a representation of a small human being, originally depicted as small statues made out of clay. Popularized in 16th century alchemy and 19th century fiction, it has historically referred to the creation of a miniature, fully formed human. That is not what I saw. It literally looked almost like a maggot, if you will. But if you really thought about it, when you get a tiny bunch of cells as a human being, we don't look like maggots, but we certainly don't look like a human. So this is this isn't the video I saw, but I have seen a few.
I got it.
No cuts in the video. This thing was moving, and it was icky. Okay, Sandra. Have a good night.
Do you want to hear something weird?
It's creepy.
Here is the Wikipedia thing of it. A homunculus is a representation of a small human being originally depicted as a small statues made out of clay, popularized in the 16th century alchemy and 19th century fiction. It has historically referred to the creation of a miniature, fully formed human.
Yeah.
So the concept of the homunculus, it's supposed to be a little man.
Okay, this does not look like it, but this is a creation off of a video, apparently. The one I saw did not have the limbs, but the center part, it did. This is about 10 years ago. I was horrified. And it was all in Russian. The guy was in Russia. And I wasn't, I don't know if I was looking this up for a show or there was a reason why. And I could not believe I saw this video. It was so, well, golems, golems are usually, they don't have to be, but they're a bit bigger than a homunculus.
Yeah.
Golems. And that has to do with Jewish and the Torah sometimes with some of the beliefs with the golem.
I saw the picture, but I never knew about it. And I signed that before, but you wonder if it's not that.
Is it an elemental?
I was that. There you go. That's what I would say.
I thought that too.
I would say if it's not that even if that guy, that was a great fake, even if it was, if I was saying there's a little truth to every kid. So like whenever somebody says, I'm just kidding you, that's because there's always a little truth to it. And there's a little truth to everything that we've ever seen.
Or it wouldn't exist.
Yeah, fairy tales, all that stuff. All these stories we make up at some point had to exist in some sort of way. Oh, it's alive. It's alive.
Okay, but now, you can remember the video I saw. This was before AI and deep fakes and all the video.
Yeah, it's an older video. What I want to know is if you went to a carnival and they had a bunch of little fish bowls full of homunculuses, could you throw a ping pong ball in there and win one?
No, no. Have one of those little, what did they name them, Arnold? The little fuzzy pink things that in the joke shop. I would have one of those. Hiffle or something. I remember. Oh, they were so cute. Or
are homunculuses supposed to be? Now it doesn't say anything about whether they're supposed to be evil or mean or anything.
I didn't see that. Let me go back. Now people keep saying they're hoaxes and stuff, but.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure.
A homunculus off of the Cryptid Wiki is said to be a humanoid creature that is fully formed when microscopic human adult that is formed when we'll say the male stuff is injected into a chicken's egg. So human male baby making juice, we'll call it, is injected into a chicken's egg. The creature comes from the concept of 16th century alchemy. It is historically referred to as creation of a miniature, fully formed human. I wonder if that's where the fictional story of Tom Thumb, where it came from.
Do you know what? If you think about it, I only know a little bit about the 16th century because I have a slight memory of it. It was like one of my things right around there. But I thought in the 16th century alchemy, I would think that is something that they would do in alchemy in 16th century, is really, really putting stuff together to see what they come up with.
It says homunculus was mentioned in the book series by pseudonymous Bosch, The Secret Series. There is a link here called stufftoblowyourmind.com/blogs. How to make a homunculus and other horrors.
Does it give I didn't look this up. I'm interested in the origin of the name.
Oh, get this one. In the zombies mode of Call of Duty Black Ops. I should ask my kid. I know he plays Black Ops. It says the homunculus is used as a special weapon which attracts zombies and other enemies. Oh, this is awful. And decapitates them with its tribal club. Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
Yeah. Ooh.
What does Mr. Robert Ordell has?
Oh, you want to read some of these? We got so many comments. We're so enthralled with all this research we're doing on air.
It's the night of the homunculus. Robert says, where is he? You want to, there we go. The first thing that came to mind, not analyze that tends to be accurate. I'm just reading a lot of these.
Well, you can read them.
Oh, yeah, you were doing that. Okay, so Neil had said, I heard a gentleman who teaches remote viewing in a YouTube video explain that when we get info that has missing info. Quantum reality's aim is balance, so that the info
Yep.
comes through you. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. When there's something missing, remote viewing is basically going to call in that missing piece, and it's going to be easier to find. We were telling people the other night, if you want to learn remote viewing, there are many places. You do not have to be a medium or a psychic to know remote viewing. You can be taught how to do it. It's a gift that all humans definitely have. Some is just going to be stronger than others. But,
okay, well, Howie Odell knows who I'm talking about, but his name is Dr. Chuck Kennedy. He has a video on YouTube that it's a friend of many of ours, Katrina Cooper. I know Dave knows her, I know Howie knows her. There's lots of us that do. He had her, and I had him on my show. I don't have the video anymore because it was one of my earlier shows, but he teaches remote viewing and he coordinates psychic teams as well as not just remote viewers. And they find missing and lost people as well and things like that. But he has a video. He was joking on my show, I remember. He goes, Lorilei, you didn't send me a couple $1 million, so I couldn't buy an MRI machine. But what's the next best thing? He has a doctorate in nursing and not neurology, neuroscience, I think. Anyway, so he used an EEG machine. I'm getting mixed up with EVP. EEG machine, and it basically measures and records brainwaves. He has been able, he believes, to show where psychic ability comes from. He calls it the region of psi, and he believes it's located in behind your left ear. And he's got a video of showing what goes on and how he did it with Katrina Cooper. It's not that long. It's an interesting video. And I remember on my show, somebody asked him at that time, could you tell the difference if the person was hooked up to an EEG machine, whether they're using their imagination or they're actually connecting using psychic ability? And he went into a story, I remember this, about a woman who was actually psychic and was using psychic ability, but when she wasn't sure, she would switch over to the part of the brain where imagination is measured, and he could tell her when she was doing it. It was a really fascinating interview. I got to have him back on sometime.
It is. You'd be surprised, because I always tell people that the path to reality is through your imagination. It really is. The truth to reality is actually through your imagination. Kassan asked,
answer this question. You go ahead, but I want to answer this question.
Okay, I'll do Kassan real quick. The origins of zombies. I'm going to read a little bit because I was looking up some stuff, but I know some of this too. They have a distinct lineage. It's equatorial and Central Africa. And then the slaves and all that, and the ones who were captured were brought to the Caribbean islands. And that's where voodoo, and in voodoo, it's basically was just a belief that a person's soul can be captured and stored. That's what that is. Hollywood made it different. I make a joke in religion about when people say Jesus is coming back, and it's like zombie Jesus, because he's died and then he was resurrected and died. And I don't have, in real zombies I'm talking about real zombies, like in the Caribbean through voodoo. I don't have a belief or a disbelief in that. I do have a disbelief that they run around eating people and eating brains. And I know they played with the zombies, and they took it out of the spiritual stuff, and then they turned it into weaponized warfare and stuff like that, because those zombies weren't zombies anymore. They were people who had like the rage virus, all that stuff. I used to watch 1 billion zombie movies when I was younger. I used to like them, but now I'm like, but regular, I don't know about.
I want to add something here. We're going to add
go ahead, please.
There is a drug out there called Flocka. Yeah. If you've ever heard of this, and these people, I have seen them on video. They get referred to as zombies. I wouldn't call them zombies, but they have done some pretty awful things akin to the legends of zombies. They usually end up having some frothing with black at the mouth. They have the strength. I have heard of and seen videos, and even locally, there was a girl apparently one time. My son used to work at the front desk at hotels, and they were able to kind of get her in between the entrance and the doorway for the police to come. This girl, he said, had to be 80 pounds, if I remember correctly, soaking wet. And same thing, she had to be on something like Flocka. It took like, I think 10 or 12 police officers, 200 plus pound police officers to pin this girl down, the strength she had, everything else. So I've heard of it.
That's I mean, with the zombie lore though, that's a drug affecting people to give
Yeah,
them.
no, but it's still out there.
An accurate thing. But I'm talking about the one where people are actually dead and they say something to bring just the core of their body back to life without a soul. And the reason I say I can't disbelieve this is because there's one thing I did know, and I found this from spirit, and this I knew. We can leave our bodies. A lot of people will leave their bodies before their actual death.
Yes.
So if you fell into a river full of alligators and like a bunch of alligators, you're not going to sit in there and suffer.
We've had this conversation many times off air, Dave, that
you're just going to go. And I refer to it, I call it the promise of heaven, which is just a cute name, but it means that if there's inevitable death, if you're never going to leave, most people say, oh, I'm not going to stick around for this. And they take off.
Well, they leave too, because unless you've contracted, and then I want to address this comment, unless you've contracted to learn something from the experience of experiencing right to the very end, and again, studying, you've had a near-death experience. I believe I have one as a toddler, but studying it also for 40 plus years. And Dave and I have talked about this many times off air. We've never really run across somebody, I haven't anyways, in the research I've done or spoken to people that have actually even remember what happens. Like their body's got, their soul is gone. Like say it was a car accident and they died and then came back, right?
Yeah, because when I had my NDE, the parts in the beginning, my parents were saying how I looked like I was in pain and agony and moaning and groaning. I wasn't there.
The physical body can still experience.
The physical body can still experience this, but the soul doesn't. So that's why, and I found this out too. If you, and this is very sad, but it's the best way to put it. If you're driving down the road and the car in front of you hits a bunny and the bunny's like half decapitated and its body's still moving around, that's because the physical body can still have action. But the soul already left.
Yeah.
Sometimes the soul leaves the bunny before it ever even hit under the wheels. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So. And there's even studies with newborns, and I'm going to get into this talk, kind of transitions into it, that newborns at times, depending on your experience, in the first week or two, can leave the body too, because baby spends a lot of time sleeping, right? So.
Yep. Yeah, babies. Yeah, that's another thing I learned. Yeah, exactly what you're saying. That's a very interesting point. Yeah. How many times when a baby's born, it's not in the body just sleeping there all the time. Yep. Baby's still conscious of they still have a memory of where they came from.
Yeah. And So Robert Odell, I want to answer this question. You said, so weird. I was thinking about the test tube babies today for some reason. Where are they now? So let's talk about that. Now, being a nurse as well as an infertility sufferer at one time, and I used to run an infertility support group in my city, that's really a misnomer. And it's actually a miracle fertility treatment that they have out there, as well as things like ICSI, it's called. There's all kinds of things. So the baby's there's no connection between, say, a homunculus, like we were talking, or anything like that. What a test tube baby basically is, for whatever reason, conception can't happen naturally. So the doctor will harvest the baby making juice, as I referred, from the father, or it could be a donor. And then the mother usually has to go on fertility drugs to increase the production of eggs, because then the doctor goes in and harvests the eggs, and they're not just going to go in and get one. They're going to get as many as they can with a good harvest, because it's not easy to do that, and it's painful. And so they get as many as they can. And then what they do is microscopically, they create conception the way it would happen within the body. They're able to do that through medicine and science. Now, once the cells have taken, if you will, or you start with 2 cells, right? And then they multiply. The eggs are then transferred back into the mother. And the mother is taking drugs to be having the perfect fertile environment, just like a regular conception. Yeah. That's all it is. The baby's not born or created in a test tube. it's a miracle for people, because this is how you have donors that when, say, somebody's had went through premature menopause and has no eggs, or for whatever reason it may be, or vice versa. And this is how a beautiful thing that people can become parents who maybe never could have before. Sorry.
They don't. Do they even do that test tube fertility that much anymore?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's called IVF. It's called IVF, in vitro fertilization.
They never talk about it here, but I think
I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that we probably have more IVF going on now than we ever have, with the increased rates of infertility that are occurring. Then there's things called ICSI, SI. I forget what the letters stand for, but it's not quite as expensive or involved as IVF. And IVF stands for in vitro fertilization. So the nickname was always test tube babies. And the first test tube baby is now an adult, and I believe a mother with an almost adult child now. Her name was Louise. I forget what her last name was. She was born in the UK. So yes, it's very common, depending on your insurance and depending on where you live.
And you wonder, though, if they want everybody to adopt so much.
Yeah, but you get into adoption, and what people don't understand too, I used to bring in guest speakers and still stay on top of this. And what happens with adoption, to adopt a child, there's many children that need to be adopted. A lot of people want a baby, because if you want a baby, if you go through, say, CAS here in Canada, I can't speak for the States, so I have looked into it. It could be years and years. Now, the other thing is, if you go private adoption, the biggest trend is open adoption, meaning that the birth mother, depending on the agreement you make, she can be very much involved in the adoptive parents adopting the child. And the scary part is, when you're really wanting to have a baby and looking into private adoption, which is very costly, you basically submit, you're selling yourself. And a mom that's coming in there and wants to adopt their child to somebody, a good family or whatever they want to choose, they just go through these books and they get to choose who they might choose. And I have seen many people who have gotten that baby home, and there's a waiting period, and mom changes her mind, and it is such a difficult, stressful thing to go through infertility.
I know. I don't know how they do it. That would be the stress at the end of the bed. They
have measured the stress levels of couples or even individuals going through infertility wanting to have a child, and the cortisol levels are as high as akin to somebody with a terminal cancer diagnosis. And you go through that monthly when you're trying to conceive.
Yeah, I could. But it's really funny, though, and I'm not making a joke of this, but because of what we're talking, because of who we are and what I'm talking about, I just had a flash of that movie, It.
Did you? Why?
Did you ever see that? Because the marquee for, not It, that movie, I think it was called It. The marquee was an old movie from the 70s, a monster movie. And the lady has a child, and it ends up being deformed, and it has one big hand like a claw. And as soon as it's born, it kills the doctor and the nurses and everything. And the mom loves it.
That wasn't Rosemary's Baby.
No, I can't. Oh, it's called It's Alive. It's Alive.
There. Now I get it. I was thinking, what does the clown and everything with it have to? Okay,
I don't know where I went with that, but it was funny. But we won't get into overpopulation.
Well, then you get into the New Jersey Devil. That's a 13th child of a mother that didn't want the baby, and the baby came out, was supposed to be deformed. And I wonder if that's where they got the premise for It's Alive.
They might have, and actually, that is now a roller coaster in New Jersey, the Jersey Devil. You can ride the Jersey Devil. So essentially, Anunnaki did IVF en masse, right? Actually,
I don't know where you went. Where did you go?
It's at the bottom. Kassan Ali.
Okay.
That's very interesting, because as the story goes with the Anunnaki, they were completely involved.
But way more evolved past.
Way more. But they went on. They created a type of person, and we've been tweaked all over the place. And I frankly don't care. It bothers some people, and I don't care. This is just a vehicle for me. I don't even know what other vehicles I've ridden around in before.
I want to answer this one with Jonathan about cloning, because I'm going to share a story. Now, I'm not quite sure who Oscar Isaac is, but I can tell you guys, I came across a video on TikTok, and most of you may know who Paul Walker is from the Fast and the Furious franchise. And supposedly, very tragically, he was racing his Porsche around and died in a fiery crash, and it was horrible. I have a video clip. I wasn't looking for this. It came up in my feed. If this guy is not Paul Walker, I don't know who it is, but this guy is filming him, that's seen him, and goes, "Aren't you Paul?" He goes, "Walker?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "No, everybody says that to me." And this guy is carbon copy spitting image. I should play it. You see this, and this guy that looks identical to Paul Walker is trying to get away from this person, and the person's not being rude, or they're just really saying, like, "Didn't you die?" Like there's no way you can't not be Paul Walker. I swear to God to you, I don't know if he's cloned. For those of you who don't believe that cloning exists, I sure do. What about you, Dave?
Well, we all have a doppelganger, though. I mean, we all have somebody. I can't tell you how many people.
I got to play this, and you see if you think this is a doppelganger.
Well, I don't even know. I don't even know who Paul Walker is. So in the beginning,
wait till you see him.
I won't know the difference between the two.
Oh, I think when you see him, you'll know who he is, Dave. I think you will. Hang on, I gotta find it. Give me a sec here. I got all these camp videos.
I know they now are saying, though, I'm really leery about these things, because somebody had said, like, this guy with this deformed face now has come out and he's Michael Jackson. He's talking to people.
Oh, and then that's Dave. No, that's Dave. He was born. He was in a fire, and people. No, I'm not talking about stuff like that. Like, people are trying to make a story out that it was really Michael Jackson. And No. You'll see. I'm gonna find it. Give me a minute here as I'm looking. I do believe my rule of thumb, and I've talked to a few people that have worked within the military or whatever.
I've never saw the Fast and the Furious. Is that not funny? People, it's like, that's one of those movies. It's like that and Scarface. People like, "Did you see Scarface?" I'm like, "No, I didn't care. I never wanted to."
Okay, but the point I'm trying to make here is speaking.
He looks a lot like him.
Okay, people who have been in the military, or people I know that have had connections, my rule of thumb is what we know as the public. Okay, the military has to be 50 to 75 years plus ahead, and they are not letting us know. I'm sorry, but
no, I believe that. No, I believe that. I'm sure there's cloning that goes on. I'm sure there is cloning. I am sure. The only people I feel sorry for are the people that, I mean, I'm pretty much let the world do what it does. It's the people who want to freeze their heads for the future.
Walt Disney did. Walt Disney froze his
I know, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. I know.
I'm trying to find this. I got a couple different phones, and I will show. Let me see if it's this.
I'll tell you, I am not that I hate myself for any reason whatsoever, but when I'm done with this one, I want to be done. I want something different. I want something new.
I'm trying to.
I'm like Cher. I like to change my clothes every number. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like what we're doing here. This is driving me crazy because I had this.
You got a kitty up here.
I just saw this video. Hang on, I'm still looking.
Come on.
I will find it because I just had it. Let me go forward here. Okay, forward. I will find it. What's her comments here? More, I know, Robert, I was going to say 100, and then I thought people would think I was exaggerating. Yes, it is more like 100 years ahead.
Actually, and that's true. There's technology that we are so behind in technology, and other people know what it is. They just only let so much come out.
Yeah, they do. So I was going to say 100, and I thought, no, people are going to think I'm exaggerating. Darn it, this drives me crazy because, you guys, I just saw this video today. I'm trying to think what else I would have it on. Let me check in my regular file. I didn't want to go through this because while we're talking. So Jonathan said they need to bring Walt back with all the Walt Disney. No, thank you.
That sounds so crazy. Yeah.
I don't. Have you guys seen this lady? She is hilarious. I'm going to play a little bit for her. She's on Facebook. And she's a secretary at
she's hilarious. I watched some of her
videos.
Oh
my God, you guys, you have to check her out. Her name is, please come up. Oh, it's not coming up. I forget what her name is, but if you look her up, say receptionist in heaven named Denise, because that's her name. Oh,
did Angel dye his hair, or do you have a second cat? I have 4 cats.
Yes.
I have Carmel as my older cat, and then I have the one who just jumped down. That's the sister, and she's got a brother, and then Angel is their other brother. I know. I don't know how in the hell that. I'm not really a crazy cat lady. I will be one day.
One day?
Not a late. Well, I'll be a crazy cat person. I guess that would be the thing to say. Here comes, now that you said Angel, look who's coming. Come on, sweetie.
Oh, is Angel coming now?
Yeah. Come on, babies. Come on now, sweetie. Were you sleepy? I look like you just woke up.
I'm looking through here because for some reason my videos are not saving in the video section like they should be. Because I am telling you, I just came across this video today and I went, oh my gosh, looking at it again. I'm sure if you see Paul Walker, you're going to say, you may not know who he is by name, but you're going to say, oh my gosh, yeah, I think I have seen him before. He's blonde and blue-eyed. Yeah, of course, I can't find it. I'll keep looking while we're, oh, wait. I found it. Okay, so this is the death announcement for, sorry, I'm trying to put this up here so you guys see. Okay, take a look at this guy's face, okay? You tell me if you think this video is a doppelganger.
Now you're playing with me. I swear to God. You swear? Okay, they thought it was me and it wasn't even me. I loved it. I did the campaign before.
The voice is identical.
Well, here's the deal. Did you just see what they came out with the other day?
What?
In the States here?
What?
And this is why I can't actually believe it. They just came out with, if you guys have seen it, now if you're in the States here, you might have seen it. They had Donald Trump being interviewed by Bill Maher and all this other stuff and all these other people.
Not getting into politics, so.
Okay, this isn't about the politics. Okay. This is about, they had interviews with all these people, and then those people are just on today. They're like, that wasn't us. That was AI. People are now reproducing the voice, the face.
It's called deep fake, David. It's been around for years. It's been around.
Oh, that one has. Years. Oh, that's an old one. But I'm saying
it's called deep fake, and you can do it with your pets. I've had that for about 3 years. No, I know what you're talking about. I've watched the Google guy and all the computer guys that came out with it. It's a deep fake, and they had the first one I saw was with Obama. And it looked identical to Obama having an interview, sounded identical. They had him saying things that Obama would never in a million years say.
That's what scares me. You know what scares me more than demons and zombies and little monsters and Sasquatches and everything is somebody imitating me and saying something I never said and getting in trouble for it. Can you imagine?
If you look it up, it's called a deep fake, and it actually came out well before all the AI stuff now. Yeah. And it's the one I saw, Rich. There's quite a few out from when it first came out, but the one Obama one, it's the comedian Jordan Peele. Now I could tell listening to the voice it wasn't Obama, but if you didn't,
I'll send it to you later. This is literally yesterday.
Oh, they're doing it all the time though, honey. It's been around for a couple of years.
Oh, I know it's been around. It's so different now. It's like I don't know, because they use AI on TikTok and
I guarantee you what you're going to send me is exactly what I'm talking about. You cannot tell the difference.
Oh, I know what a deep fake is.
Real person or not. And that's exactly what you said. Anybody could do this. They could use your likeness.
Yeah, they could.
Put your voice and reproduce it now. And you would never know. And you know where that really starts getting into? And it makes me think of the movie Minority Report almost in a way, because they could say you did something and have you on video and it would be your likeness, your voice, everything. And how do you prove that you didn't? You're on video.
Yeah, I know. And they're using like other places and all that stuff.
You know what else I heard? Okay, DNA is supposed to be infallible. There's a Captain Chris Anderson. He was on all those cop shows on A&E and stuff.
I think I know you're talking
48.
Yeah.
He says he actually ended up fighting for a guy that was in prison. He was proven with DNA evidence that they said he took the life of his girlfriend because he was a young kid and he was scared and they had him for hours. He finally just admitted he thought they'd let him go home. Anyways, you know what happened to him? Somebody else had gone in and taken the life of his girlfriend. He had no idea. And when he traipsed down the stairs to escape, this kid didn't know. This kid showed up and sat on the steps right where the guy had gone through. So he had DNA blood on his clothing and everything.
Oh.
So you got that too. So you got to be real careful.
No, I can see how that could happen. Weird.
Oh, wait. Howie says, when I return and coming back as a Meg. I'm not sure what a Meg is.
Oh, Meg. Meg from like Family Guy.
That's who we thought of right away. Is that who?
This is your first time on the show.
I saw this. Yes.
What's you guys' opinion on David Icke's reptilian?
David Icke. Yeah.
Who's Ike?
I know who David Icke is, and I am familiar. That's a whole show in itself, unfortunately.
I'll give you a quick synopsis, though. I mean, real quick. I mean, that is a good show to have, though. David Icke.
Well, David Icke, I have personally been in contact in a way with David Icke, and I will never bash somebody, I'm not. I want to give some credence. Let's put it this way. I'll word it this way. Thank you, Spirit. The truth always rises to the surface. Always. And I'll leave it at that.
What do I got? Okay, now if you're asking based on your question, what do I? Okay, not Lorilei. She told you. What is his opinion on David Icke's reptilian theory? I haven't heard it. Although there's something about David Icke that's.
David, you won't like the theory, I guarantee you.
Yeah, I know. And that's why, I never even watched it, and she already knows. Because there's something about David Icke that I find that is not truthful. Something's not truthful in there. Something is overdone. And that's all I'll say on that. But like Lorilei, I'm not going to bash somebody's opinion on something, although I think he's doing a disservice.
I know you'd never bash anyone, but knowing you, David, like I do, you won't like it.
I know I won't like it, and if I did watch it, I'm not.
That's all I'm saying. You won't like it.
I looked at a picture. I looked at the picture of David Icke, and I go, "Oh, that's David Icke." No, it's already nothing I would watch. My opinion on anything David Icke says is pretty much don't care what he says, doesn't affect me one way or the other. How's that?
I love
Is that a good way to say it?
Truth always rises to.
It really does.
David wants us to pull cards. I thought we were getting away scot-free.
Okay, I'll pull a card for you.
I was ready for you, Jonathan.
I was going to say I might have to go direct because I didn't have my cards near me, but I do.
Oh, no, we don't need you. You're not pulling a card. My dog's decided to make her presence known tonight. Have you, sweetheart? Yes. You can go lay down.
Okay, who am I pulling the card for? Am I pulling the card for the actual show? That's just because we only got a couple minutes, so we're both going to pull a card that is going to be for the collective of who's watching.
That's what I was going to say. Great.
Perfect,
Dave.
See, we know. We don't even have to talk before a show. We just know.
Like I said, I say David's name, and David messages me. Like I swear to God, there's like we're connected through the universal consciousness.
Yeah, we just always figure out everything. All right.
Yeah.
You go whenever you're ready.
Waiting to see this video you're going to send me. I know you are. I'm going to go, that's what I was talking about, Dave.
I know. I won't send it to you then, but they did do it yesterday, and they were talking about it was specifically something they're doing. I didn't want to say it on here because it's something that they're trying to use in politics to do something. But we already figured out. Everybody can figure it out.
Yeah.
There's still something I can still, if anybody else, if you ever do this, when I hear somebody talk for a while, I hear a melody in their voice. So it's like a song to me. So I can tell if that's their real voice, or usually, not always.
I got two cards stuck together and I got good ones. Do you want me to go first, Dave, while you're shuffling?
Go for it.
Okay, The first one, this is from Kyle Gray's deck. What one? It's his newest one. It's called Angels and Ancestors. Now, the first one is called Night.
Let me get this.
Be brave and honest. And that includes with yourself, I'm hearing from Spirit. So for those of you, take what resonates with you, leave the rest. But just remember, Okay, especially with yourself, I'm hearing right now. I don't know what it is energetically. It's the time to start clearing out the extraneous, the extra stuff you no longer need, and really going through. Be honest with that. Be brave about it. Be brave about the things you're dreaming about, that you've been thinking about doing and been putting off, and be honest with yourself. Why not? Take that first step. That's all it takes, because then it's followed by another and another and another. And before you know it, you reach it very quickly. Last one, lady, enjoy growth and reap rewards. And these two, I think, go together, because once we be brave and we be honest about, it could be people, could be relationships, could be your job, could be, I really hear especially things that you've been wanting to do and been putting off. This is indeed how you will enjoy the growth and reap the rewards. So thank you.
Cool. And guess what? Mine's going to go along with that. And
Oh, wow.
at the same time. So it's kind of, it does in a way. So this is the card for you guys, is stepping into power.
It does go with it, Dave.
Yep. So stepping into power, when this card comes up for me, for the people watching together, basically this card was, I was looking at it, signifies something. There's actually two people behind that guy right here. There's this guy, there's this guy, there's another one that's faded out here. He doesn't show up every once in a while, but he faded out too. These are your old beliefs that you've been dropping here and there. The card's just telling me, and of course because of the show too, go by your beliefs. You know your own beliefs in your heart. I mean, people can tell us what we want, because they're beliefs. Beliefs mean that you kind of think, not based on any evidence, that you believe this might be true. Where a knowing is, I know this to be true no matter what. It's kind of like if you think about like reincarnation. How do I know there's reincarnation? Well, I know it to be true. So I don't believe there's carnation. I know it to be true. So my life now, with that knowing, my life's different. So remember, beliefs can play a big part of that. There's a lot of beliefs that I dropped. I used to have beliefs in a lot different things than I do now. But when they started to screw up my life, I started dropping them. That's what you guys are doing now. You guys have been doing that for a while as a collective, even watching, and as you guys just hear, your beliefs are changing. Your beliefs are changing to things that serve you better and that will put you forward through life. And that's what they're telling you. You're stepping into power when you do that. When your beliefs are yours, when your beliefs are on your own dime, I mean, they're you. You are cool, the consequences and everything for it. You step into really big power. You can now start just doing what you want to do and need to do, and don't have to worry about some fear-based belief.
Love it. That did go hand in hand. And you just showed up, Z-Sun Dragon. Kevin, your ears must have been burning. I mentioned you earlier, and we had so many interesting conversations that the show flies by every week, I swear, because of all you in the audience. And we were going to talk about portals. We didn't get there, so we'll have to save that maybe for next week.
We'll talk about portals next week then, yeah.
Okay, so you guys, if you were enjoying the paranormal and the discussion, hang out, because coming up right after us, night 2 of one of the most popular shows on our network, The Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. That's who it's hosted by, and it's Wednesday nights and Thursday nights right after our show, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dave, you want to tell them where they can find you, and then I'll tell them where they can find me.
Yes, you can find me on YouTube and on Facebook under The Spirit Experience, or you can look up David Hanzel, Spiritual Medium. You can find me on TikTok or Instagram at Medium David Hanzel. And you go to my website, theywhispertome.com, if you would like to find out more about me or to get a reading of some sort. And that's it. Oh, I also have another, I'm sorry, I always forget because I haven't made one in a couple of weeks. I also have another podcast called Mystic Stew, which is pre-recorded, and they're short form. So it's like you can listen to it on the way to work. So about 20, 30 minutes. Actually, me and Lorilei did one back when I was doing longer ones. Me and Lorilei do one in there you should look for when we talk about aliens.
Oh, yeah. Dave and I, that's why, Dave, every time he was on my show, too, we started podcasting together in each other's shows, and look where we are now. Thank you so much. Z-Sun Dragon says, I knew it. Portals. Yeah, just got off work, so going to rewatch. We're saving them till next week, and thank you guys.
Portals will be next week.
Thank you for all your great comments. If you ever want to get a hold of me, you got a show idea, guest suggestion. I do readings, I do mentoring, I do energy healing, crystal Reiki. You can get a hold of me on facebook.com/The Angel Rock. And I have 2 groups on Facebook, Paranormal University for all things paranormal, the Angel Rocker Tribe for more of the spiritual things. And yeah, I think that's everything. But also, please tune in Monday nights to the Angel Rock. That's the show I do on my own from 6 p.m. to Eastern Standard Time. It's a 2-hour show. This week, this Monday coming up, we have Julie, animal communicator. So you guys, you got questions, you want to find things out. She's the lady. I booked a reading with her. She is incredible. And then the week after that, we have Jonathan Keyworth, or JK47 Paranormal will be on. So you know those are going to be some great shows. Otherwise, we will see you same time, same place next week. Right, Dave?
We sure will. And we're going to try to say our little ending here, which
okay. We all got new computers. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, new computers. Okay, 1, 2, 3. What's at the foot of your bed?
Oh my God. I think we almost did it.
I think we almost did it. And you know what? You guys will have to tell us, because please add the links in the description. We will.
We will.
Thank you for asking that. We will.
The links are in the write-up too. Anywhere where the show is posted, I post on all social media platforms. So you can find all the links. They're there. Okay. Yep. So you guys have a good one. We'll see you next week. You got to get out of here so Michelle and Amelia can get on. Okay. Talk to you later. We'll see you next week. Love y'all.